My name is Danny, and I am the enrollment advisor on the King's Product Management Career Accelerator. I'm going to hand over to Emma for today's amazing masterclass. I'll also be sticking around afterwards to answer any questions that you guys might have about the Product Management Career Accelerator. So please enjoy the masterclass, and I look forward to speaking with you afterwards. Bye.
Hello, everyone. So nice to see you. A nice, small, and mighty group of people. Maybe because it is such a small group, it would be really great to hear what your situation is, whether you're a product manager or aspiring product manager. Maybe people can write that in the chat. We can have a look. Aspiring, nice. Thank you, Charlotte. Michael, I think you said your name was Ollie, so nicely confusing there. Lots of aspiring PMs. Nice. Awesome. Ah, okay. Thank you, Michael, for clarifying that. Wonderful. So most of you aspiring. Ronan, I see that you're actually a PM. So yeah, I think that's great. It's really nice to have you here, and very excited to be here. I guess you've probably come here today because you've heard a lot about Gen AI. You're looking to jump on the AI bandwagon, maybe. Maybe you're just really scared about all the developments and you just need to know more. Maybe you are a product person and want to know how it can help you in your product process, or you want to be a product person, which it seems like many of you want to be, and think you need to know more about how you could utilize it as a PM. So we've got 30 minutes today to do just that. So intro to me, I'm a product leadership coach and fractional CPO. I have 15 years experience of industry. Most recently, I left my role as a VP of product at Multiverse, which is an ed tech. And I've scaled product at Funding Circle, Multiverse, and a range of different places, but helped them achieve unicorn, i.e. $1 billion valuations. I would say I'm a transformational leader. I kind of like turning teams into happy, high-performing ones, interviewed lots of people, scaled teams, and I've recently become a mum of two. I have a little baby girl in the other room who's 3 months. Lastly, just to mention that I post daily on LinkedIn, mostly about product process, product leadership, scaling, and being a woman in tech. If this is at all interesting to you, please give me a follow. Great. Next slide, please. So today, what you are going to leave with is 4 key things. One is some facts and figures about why you just can't ignore this new Gen AI trend. 2, I'm going to give you a 3 E's framework, which is really about how you can create value using generative AI in 3 specific ways. 3 is all about 10xing the role of the PM. If you're thinking about being a product manager, I think it's interesting to see how actually generative AI can make your job easier and more effective. And lastly, I'm going to give you some tips and tools and tricks about how to keep up with this AI boom, so that you don't feel as panicked about it all. So next slide. Question to the group. How, if at all, are you using generative AI today in your daily lives? You can just write in the chat again, and we can just see whether it's even on your radar, whether you're really adept at using all the tools, whether there are any favorite tools you like using. Please just download in the chat, because I'm really interested to see how it all affects your daily lives today. Cool. Nice. Please keep sharing. Nice. Okay. And please be honest as well if you're just not using it because you're too scared. Like anything is, I imagine most of you will be using it and playing around with it to a degree, but it's also, fine if you want to admit that you're not using it so much or haven't really got the hang of it. Nice. Just give you couple couple more seconds and you can continue writing it. I should have mentioned as well, if you do have any specific questions as we go along, please write them in the Q&A section and I'll get to them at the end. So a lot of ChatGPT, a lot of playing. I like this word playing because I think that's a really good word for the space of what's happening right now. And it seems like most of you are using some of it, so that's great. Hopefully today I won't be teaching you how to suck eggs, but it is more to enhance your knowledge around how to use it. So next slide. So I guess the reality is that, as you already know, the GenAI explosion is too big to ignore. I speak to some people who think it's a bit of a fad and think it will fade, but I think most people realize that it's here to stay. It's such an accessible technical advancement, unlike maybe VR, for example, which hasn't taken off as much. And you can see this through the adoption curve. Anyone can start using it. And that's why you can see that 70% of the Gen Z population are using it today. It's nuts. And actually the adoption curve in the US is far greater than the UK, which is really interesting. So there's still a little bit of nervousness in the UK, but overall, in 1 year, that adoption is pretty nuts. And it is quite similar to kind of mobile adoption back in the day. It's also a big source of funding and interesting in the venture capital world, right? With tech leaders all seeing how they can incorporate Gen AI into their strategies and start hiring actually to upskill their workforce to capitalize on this technology. Yes, there is hype. If you look at the top 25 AI first companies, 1 trillion market cap lends insight to that. It's nuts. But what it does say is that this movement is one to track and see where it normalizes out. We're in the storming phase. The norming phase comes next, and really we'll see where it all ends up. But what I'd like to do is just kind of give you a parallel to the mobile craze, and this is why I've called it AI first. Mobile first design, obviously is a thing now and is a very tried and tested method. But prior to 2012, we can look at Facebook, for example, to see how they adopted mobile first. Prior to 2012, Facebook was primarily accessed on desktop computers. Mobile usage was going up rapidly, but Facebook's mobile app was super clunky, for example. And, concerns were like whether Facebook would remain relevant. Now, 2012, Mark Zuckerberg was smart and recognized how critical mobile was and made it a top priority in their strategy. And he declared 2012 the year of mobile. And significant investments were made in the mobile app space, including streamlined UI UX, increased focus on core features like newsfeed, messaging, photo sharing, and introduction of new mobile specific features like timeline and graph search. And this had huge impact on Facebook's future. Mobile usage skyrocketed. The improved app meant that retention and user engagement was far higher than before. And it really lent itself for Facebook's future success in areas like mobile advertising and video. These things became so much more um, successful with the mobile app. And so it was a very expensive pivot. And a lot of companies are thinking about that now. Do we pivot towards a more AI first strategy? And the reality is, it's not cost free. It is expensive, but a lot of people are doing it because they recognize this is just too big to ignore, just like Facebook did back in the day. And, the mobile first approach continues to evolve, and Facebook continues to evolve with focusing on investments and enhancements like mobile payments, augmented reality, metaverse, etc. They're trying to be always at the front of things. And this is where all of you need to be thinking as well. Next slide, please. So here's a really simple framework for you to apply to your product process, or to think about, if you're entering a product role, this is how you could apply these to a product process to enable and ensure that you're capitalizing on the developments in AI. Not doing so will always make AI an add-on or an afterthought to products. A bit like, I guess the way to see it is like accessibility at a lot of tube stations. When the tube station hasn't been designed with accessibility in mind first, you often have a lift in like a really random place, or it's just not optimized for that accessible person. And so it's the same with AI. If you can get ahead of the curve and really think AI first in how you design or develop or strategize things, then you could create some really interesting new experiences. And there are three things that AI is particularly good at. One is 10xing efficiency. If you have problems that are to do with, making something faster or cheaper, AI has always been pretty good for the job. An example from my past is the least scalable bit of multiverse was the bank of coaches that we needed to hire to deliver the programs. And instead, building out GenAI chatbots, and over time looking at how we could create a skills wizard, we realized this could do the job of replacing about 70% of what the coach was doing yesterday. In essence, GenAI is now at the forefront of their strategy at Multiverse, and it will help them become a $10 billion business rather than a $1 billion business. Someone to look at, a tool to look at, is Lindy.ai as well, which categorizes itself as an AI employee or assistant. And these are the kind of tools that are coming out. How can you really make things more, how can I do my job more efficiently by having a kind of Gen AI assistant in my pocket? Two is enablement. Some of you mentioned how you're using it to write code. Well, it's essentially like, can we do this without an engineer? I don't know if any of you know, but recently a hackathon was won by a marketer, where prototyping, getting something out to market has never become faster or easier. And this is really cool. One to watch here is Sutro.xyz. Essentially, you can create web experiences through prompting, which is super cool. So definitely one to watch there. And then thirdly, I think in the third bucket is experience. I think we're only at the start here. This is the year where we're going to create whole new experiences that are 10x better with GenAI, helped by a range of new hardware that's probably going to come out and really test the market. So I've seen AI pendants, and I don't know if any of you've seen the collaboration between the metaverse and Ray-Ban, but like cooler looking glasses, products that will be created to suit the new reality is definitely going to be an interesting development this year. Great, next slide. So there are three core areas for where you can apply AI first principles in a product process. Now, some of you may not be utilizing be able to be utilizing this immediately because you're aspiring product managers, but I think it's worth thinking about where in the product process you could be thinking AI first. Firstly, strategy. So product leaders are looking to see how they can incorporate GenAI in their product strategy today. I explained how Multiverse is looking to create a skills angel for apprentices and students who want to upskill on the job. So they've done an exercise thinking about how can we create an 11-star experience? And they think having kind of a skills angel on your always on, which can constantly maybe take on information from the working environment and use that to upskill and coach you, would be really cool. I know, speaking to the VP of Bumble, they're also looking at how they can improve. They were talking about testing whether Gen AI initial response to a match is better than something you could create yourself. And they've had some really positive traction on that. So it's really interesting to hear how lots of product leaders are looking to think AI first. Solution design, if you become a product manager or are one, this is really where we need to index. So when it comes to the point you have specific problems to solve, extending your how might we to how might we with Gen AI, especially when those problems are in the 3E space, is the switch in thinking. Going to the tried and tested methods from before just won't work as well going forwards. And I think it's always good to test your designers and engineers and everyone else to think in this AI first way. And then thirdly, you don't have to rely as much. Engineers aren't going anywhere, I don't think, but you don't have to rely as much on engineering capacity, and things can be a lot quicker to market. So when it comes to how might we build this, the whole team should be thinking about utilizing AI first. What can we create without code so that we can make it faster and really add on it from there. Next slide, please. So Gen AI can also help make the role of the product person 10x better. So never has there been a better time to be a product person because you have, Gen AI in your pocket to help you. And I think the top things that AI are particularly useful in helping with the role are in researching, consolidating data, and creating content. The longer the prompt, generally there's more specific the outcome. And I think trial and error is key here. I've been trying things out myself a lot, and it's not always good the first time around. It always needs to be edited, or it often needs fact checking. And there's a myriad of new AI first tools out there to try, as well as AI add-ons to products we know and love. We've seen it everywhere. And here are some specific on this slide. You can read some specific ways that you could potentially use it in your product process, and try them out. In creating the presentation today, for example, I used it and it probably made it 10 to 20% faster than starting from scratch, which I'll bank that. Next question. I've been playing with all these three AI writers, I guess, Claude, ChatGPT-4, and Bard. And here are some of the differences that I think are useful to know based on what your use case is. So Claude, for example, I really like Claude's interface personally, but they're all sort of much of a muchness. Claude is really good at long form and code. ChatGPT-4 is more creative and logical, and Bard, connected to Google, is much better fact checker and kind of summarizer. So if that's helpful, take that away. That's just a quick one for you. Next, let's brainstorm. So let's brainstorm a little bit. You are already using ChatGPT, but maybe using the 3Es framework. Think about, one thing you could put into practice this from what you've learned today. Maybe you want to use GenAI to redo your CV. I can give you a tip on the tool to use for that next. Maybe you can start using it to challenge your designers and engineers. Maybe you just want to start writing specific types of emails, starting with AI, or maybe your next presentation can be created with an AI first tool. Just give me some, have a little think. Maybe there's a problem that you're trying to solve at the moment that fits into that 3Es framework that you want to try and solve using AI first. Have a little think and share in the chat, if you will. Any more for any more? Oh, there we go. Nice. So Caitlin, that's going to be specific to the efficiency one, right? See whether you can become more efficient. Creating a requirement stock. Yes, PRDs. I've heard a lot of people using them. Nice, Erin. I like that idea. Prioritize tasks when the backlog, Serena. That's really cool. Yeah, simplification is so important. I've seen, I personally hate waffle. So whenever it comes to kind of LinkedIn posts or anyone writing waves of paragraphs, I'm like, nope, summarize. So if, one of the AI writers can bring it down to a page, that is a really useful thing, not only from a, efficiency from your perspective, but also from a communication point. You'll hopefully deliver your comms in a better way. So some great thoughts here, great ideas. Hopefully it's got you thinking in this more AI first way. That's the idea behind it. Next slide. Oh, sorry. Next slide. Yeah, we've just done that. Sorry. Next slide. Perfect. What I've seen and I've heard, there's quite a bit of like panic with people because they're kind of like, oh my God, how can I keep up with everything? It's changing so quickly. And you're not wrong, that we're in the eye of the storm here. And there's so many new AI first companies coming, all the tools, it's impossible to keep up with all the tools. And so it's a playground at the moment, and you don't have to worry too much because it's impossible to keep up with all the new companies and advancements. And my 3 tips for you are these. So one is try AI out frequently. Really think in the AI first way, play. It's not going to be perfect first time round, second time round, etc. But just keep at it. Try and use some of the new tools. Have a look at that and see what you can find from that. 2 is for kind of macro news around how AI is relevant to the tech world. Following the generalist is really good. So he's on Substack, but he's also on LinkedIn. And he provides some really interesting trends and information on GenAI at the moment because it's what VCs and startups care about. So I'm really enjoying that. And then thirdly, follow generative AI on LinkedIn for very much more specific news about interesting ways that GenAI is creating new experiences or new things. It's more like from a tech perspective, what are some of the new developments in Gen AI, and really worth a follow as well. So very simple, right? Like those three things. There's obviously more you can do, more around learning and development and courses and everything else. And not saying you shouldn't do that, absolutely. But to avoid the panic, what's going to happen is at some point, probably this year, we're really going to start seeing maybe there's a huge disaggregation of tools and everyone's trying something different. And at some point, it will consolidate to a new norm. And we'll just need to see what that looks like. Lastly, maybe relevant for some people here, for those who are polishing their CVs, try Teal. Someone else good on LinkedIn just shared this as well, and I've worked with a few coaching clients who are using this. It uses Gen AI to help you generate a really nicely formatted CV that's very parsable by the applicant tracking systems that a lot of companies use. And so, it's a really, really good win here. So do give it a try. Awesome. That's it from me today. I'm gonna just check the Q&A to see if there's no questions. So if there are any questions, let me know. I'm on LinkedIn. Please DM me if you have any feedback on today, whether this was relevant to you or, interesting. Love to hear it. If it wasn't, please tell me how I could improve it. Really, really interested to hear more feedback from you and to, see if I can help you out in any way. And yeah, thank you.
Emma, thank you so much for that masterclass. It was so great to hear from you and to learn from you. And I've definitely been taking notes the whole time. I've already followed the generalist on LinkedIn, so let's see if I can gain deeper understanding into AI and generative AI and how it can help us. I'm going to be sticking around for a little while to answer any questions related to the King's Product Management Career Accelerator. As I mentioned in the beginning, my name is Danny and I am one of the enrollment advisors. If you are interested in this program and learning more about your aspiring future as a product manager, please, the brochure will be put into the webinar chat, and you can also reach out to either myself or one of my team members just to guide you in this decision-making process. I'm going to just quickly chat a little bit of a brief overview of the program and the Career Accelerator model. If you do have any specific questions, please put them into the Q&A at the bottom of your screens, and I'll make sure I will get into those after I outline the Career Accelerator model. I'm quite excited about this Career Accelerator. I think it's an amazing way to help our learners transition careers into the product space, leveraging either existing experience or academic experience through the program, navigating your unique career path. And there's a few ways on how we can do this. One is it's a King's College London program. So you've got that academic backing, that academic standard, that academic rigor that we see from the university. And I'd say that this forms a lot of the foundations of the program. You'll be learning from King's academics, but what is quite unique about this program is that although we have that academic backing, we've also partnered with industry experts. Just like you've heard from Emma today, we've leveraged their experience, their IP. They've helped us identify specific knowledge gaps. We make sure that that content is relevant to the workplace. It's very career orientated, and as I said, very industry aligned. Secondly to that, it's a very practical program. You're going to be developing a portfolio of evidence, and this is going to be helpful to practically show your skills as a product manager that you've developed on this program and be able to show a track record of what you'd be able to contribute. We have 4 key projects on the program. 3 are going to be done on an individual basis. And then the 4th and final project is really exciting. We actually partner with an external company. So it's an employer partner. They will present a live business challenge that their company is currently experiencing. And you'll actually get to work on finding product-focused solutions to that business challenge. You'll be working in a group with other learners on the program, and really, as I mentioned, honing in on those product management skills, getting insights into different industries, and learning what it's like to be a product manager, setting you up for a successful career going forward. Thirdly, you're going to work with a dedicated career coach, and this stems from our career-focused approach to the program. We want to make sure that you're able to ideate and validate your own career goals based on your transferable skills, unique experiences, and your unique preferences for what you want out of your career. And your career coach is going to be there to guide you into successfully achieving those career goals through 6 one-hour sessions that you will have with them. So that's quite briefly the main career accelerator model that we have going here. And if you'd like to chat to a enrollment advisor such as myself, please reach out to us and we can chat more specifically to your career goals, your transferable skills, and what you're hoping to get out of this program. And if you do have any direct questions for me, please can you put them into the Q&A session and I will get to those right away. I can see some questions have already come through. It's all about more of the structure and the delivery of the program. So the program itself is 100% online. It's also very flexible in terms of your time management. So it's 6.5 months long in total duration, 100% online. And we anticipate that you're going to spend about 10 to 15 hours a week on the program. And it's very flexible. So it works with a full-time work schedule or just a full-time life schedule. And you're able to allocate those 10 to 15 hours within the week to make your way through the module's contents. We do have various masterclasses that we host, like this one, that will be in real time for you to attend. However, attendance is not compulsory, so you are able to catch up on the recording and have discussions on the online discussion forum about the masterclasses afterwards. For applications to the program, you can apply directly online. I do encourage you to speak to either myself or one of my team members prior to the application, just to make sure it does meet your expectations. But even if you do apply right away, someone will contact you and make sure that the program is aligned with what you're looking for. We're really focused on getting the right learners into the right environment. It's a strong focus of us for the program. The costs of the program, there is a fee attached. I do encourage you to reach out to your enrollment advisor. We have various installment plans and payment plans and various options to accommodate for different budgets for the program. Again, I encourage you to reach out to us, book a call or pop us an email, and we'll send you all of that information as soon as possible. If our calendars are booked out, January is a very popular month for us. I do encourage you to email us and let us know, and we can rearrange our schedules to accommodate you and make sure that we get you all those answers prior to the program start date, which will be the 29th of January. We are also currently running a little bit of a payment special, so reach out to your enrollment advisor and we can let you know about those timelines for achieving them. And I will talk a little bit more about the program and the courses and the curriculum because it's so important to understand what you're learning on the program. The first 3 weeks of the program are going to be focused on your orientation, your onboarding. We want to make sure that you are comfortable with the online learning environment, that you are able to meet your student success manager, so that they're going to offer you support throughout the entire program. I call them an accountability coach, but I've also heard them be referred to as a personal cheerleader. I've heard that from some various learners on the program. And I see some questions coming into the QA. So I'll jump into that right away. So how much of the course will be practical versus theory? So that's a great question. The program itself is a perfect balance between the two, and that's where the importance comes from, that academic background of King's, but then also the industry experts. We make sure that over the program, you're going to have those 4 key projects. So what that layout looks like is that over the 6 months, we divide the program into 4 different sections, and each of those sections we call courses. So we have course 1, course 2, course 3, and then we have the final course on the program, which is the employer project. At the end of each of those courses, you'll have a project that you'll need to submit, and this will be built on through those 6 weeks or each modules, and then you'll submit your final project at the end of each course. So you'll have 4 of those major projects. They're all going to emphasize everything that you've learned on the program. So the balance between the practical components and the theoretical understanding, it's very important to us and for your skills developing to be able to become a product manager or advance your existing career as a product manager. Great question. Thank you so much. In terms of the curriculum, I'll give a brief overview. We do have the program brochure, which will outline the courses for you. And then if you reach out to your enrollment advisor, we can provide you with a more detailed breakdown of each of the courses, just to make sure that it is aligned with meeting your expectations and what you were anticipating for the program. In course 1, we're going to start focusing on product management and strategy. Very quickly, in these first 6 weeks, we want to ensure that you're able to answer the question of, if you're creating something from scratch, where do we start? So we focus a lot on the team structures, your value propositions, ethical considerations, being able to ideate and validate new ideas and new features. That's something that's really important in the first course of the program, with much more in the 6 weeks. We do cover a lot. So if you'd like to learn more about that, again, please book a call with an enrollment advisor. Course 2 is going to focus more on product design and development. Essentially, at the end of these 6 weeks, what we want to make sure that you're able to do is manage advanced technical product development and everything that comes with that. A large focus of the program is working on communication with multidisciplinary teams, understanding their jargon, defining your minimal viable product, influencing your roadmap, everything focused on that advanced technical product development. Course 3 is going to focus on launching your product to market. So here we want to make sure that you can design an effective go-to-market strategy, that you're able to plan all the activities involved in a product launch. We want to make sure that you can identify the appropriate product metrics for success for your product, everything in order to promote business success and promote product success for you. And that's very briefly the curriculum over the 6.5 months. We definitely run through a lot more. And again, I encourage you to book a call. There's a link in the chat. We also have program brochures. And I really hope that I can look forward to speaking to some of you soon and getting you onto the program to start that aspiring product management career. Thank you again for the time that you've taken to join us today. And I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you. Bye.